What's up, everybody? It's me, Rivah, and I'm back again with another video. If you're new here, my name is Rivah, and I am here to give you guys my full opinions, my feelings, my thoughts, of course, my reaction to this complete video. I obviously have not watched this video, so we're going to watch it together. If you don't know the backstory, there was a very tumultuous relationship between Danileigh and the baby, who is her rapper baby father. And I think this is going to be really, really interesting based off of the live streams that we saw from, the baby side of things. And I'm just kind of intrigued on how this conversation is going to go. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. If you're new here, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button.
Hi, Danny.
Hi.
First of all, you look beautiful.
You look beautiful. Thank you.
What's happening with you? What's happening in your life? What is this glow about?
I'm definitely in a better place.
Thank God.
It's been a long 2 years. A lot of growing, a lot of learning, a lot of obstacles. So, yeah, I'm in a better place now. Been praying, been working hard, been very focused. I'm a mommy now, so.
Your baby is so cute.
Thank you. Thank
Valor
you.
is her name.
Yeah, my baby, Valor, baby Lay.
I didn't know that was her when I walked in. I was like, whose baby is that? She's delicious. And then she was half asleep and she woke up and she gave me a big smile.
Oh, yeah, she's always smiling. She's so happy.
She seems like a really happy baby.
So happy, and she's so good too. Like, so well behaved. Like, she only cries when she's hungry.
How's that? How's being a mom?
It's good.
Last time I saw you, you weren't even thinking about being a mom.
Oh no, I was like, how long ago was that? Like 3 years ago?
Your hair was 2 years? 2 years ago? 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a minute.
God, it was only 2 years ago? No, it
was only 3 years ago.
It was longer than
It was 3 years ago.
You were like at the beginning.
Yeah, it was in the beginning for sure. So
you did good. She's beautiful. She seems really happy and so sweet.
Thank
so I'm sure it's changed you, right? Like being a mom.
Yeah, it's definitely. I just feel like I have a purpose now. Like, I always felt like I had a purpose. Like, work hard. I want to inspire people. I want to, make a life for my family and everything. But now I just, like, I can't play. Like, the focus is, like, solely on working and myself because I got to do it for her and provide for her. So it's definitely changed me. It's what I needed, like, a blessing.
I think there's a lot that we can learn from this. Like in the video, she had just had her baby. She was going through postpartum at the time. She was like being very physical, threatening to be very physical with her then boyfriend. I don't know what the situation was, but her baby father, the baby who is, as we know, a rapper. And I think sometimes it takes a certain level, not sometimes, okay, all the time. It takes a certain level of maturity to have a child. And to deal with the changes that come along with having a child with someone in a relationship, because whatever dynamics that you had when it was just you two responsible only for yourselves is one thing, but there's a lot of great changes, especially depending on whatever the situation is between you two, that when there's another person involved, like sometimes with a lot of women, hormones changing, emotions changing, that logical thinking is completely out of the window. So sometimes it takes going to the extreme and being put in your place for you to kind of get some introspection, right? And see where you stand, see what the situation really is, see, how you would not want your daughter to be affected in such a situation. And I say that because she still has her baby over there with him, and he's always spending time with his child. So sometimes it takes a certain level of growth, of hitting rock bottom, of going through the pain and letting everybody show you the mirror of yourself back to you for you to kind of like go through that change.
Sounds like you are having some therapy with the music. It feels like your experiences are going to be showing in some of the music that you're working on now.
It's crazy because, I was in Orlando at the time, right after I left Charlotte, riding jerkins. I found out he was out there, so I was like, oh, let me hit him up and see if we could work or something. And he had a whole camp going on, and I hit him up, and we linked up, and I kind of told him everything that happened. He had no idea because he was not on Instagram. No. I'm like, how do you not know?
Rodney,
right.
What planet?
Right. So I showed him like everything, and he was like, oh, you got a story to tell. And I was like, yeah.
I mean, some of the best music comes out of people who have artists who have stories to tell, who have been through some things.
No, for sure.
Which I feel like there's so many things I want to catch up with you on because it's been so long. But I feel like the elephant in the room obviously is because you've been quiet. You have been like on purpose quiet, right? Like you've been kind of probably sorting through what you had to deal with. But it was November. This IG live happens, and it was just from the outside and not knowing what was going on in your personal life. It was hard to watch. You know what I mean? It was like shocking. What could you tell us about what was happening that day for you?
I would say me and him were in a very bad place in our relationship. I had left before that. Like, there was a time where I left before that, and then we tried to work things out, so I came back again. So I was living there for the 3 months, and my baby was born in Charlotte. So it was just a bad time, bad everything. Like, we were just really going through it, and, you know, a lot of things were said, a lot of things came out that night.
In front of everybody.
Right. We were, like, I'll admit, we were pretty lit. I was drinking a bottle of wine, like, and so it all came out on that live for sure. And, yeah, it was very triggering and very sad. I wish it didn't happen because I don't want my baby to see that later on in life, but she'll grow to be her own person and be able to take things in. And, yeah.
What were you?
And that's the thing. Okay, so this is one of the things about social media. Like, when we talk about, like, putting your business out there on Front Street, that's one of the things that is an issue, because you get a couple drinks in your system and, like, people just go on live stream. They're just live streaming. They're showing everything. And it's like, once it's there and the whole world is already watching it, the blogs get it, you can't take it back. You can't take those actions back. And the biggest thing I have to say is that in that video, in that live stream, if you guys don't remember, you know, she was being very aggressive towards him. He was saying that he was live streaming, you know, in case anything, you can know that, you know, it wasn't him who was a part of a situation or whatever the case. And, you know, allowing her to speak and to share her side of the story. She hasn't spoken for a long time. I think that's for the best. She hasn't spoken about the entire situation, but also if it was the other way around and it was the situation where it was the man being so aggressive and the woman was there, like, I just wonder if it would be so, like, if people would be so receptive to him then coming out and sharing his side of the story, because we already know how society is. It's like, we don't really care what any, you know, men don't have feelings, they don't have emotions, it doesn't matter. But when it comes to, like, a woman, it's like, you know, like, oh, well, you know, we do have grace and we do grant grace. And I think sometimes that can spread the wrong message, because sometimes it makes other women feel that there are no repercussions for their actions. So they can, you know, if we look at Amber Heard, if we look at different situations, like, you can go as far as you want to go, and society is not going to really weaponize any of that against you. But if it was a man and they do the exact same thing that you did, the exact same actions that you've done, it's like, oh no, we don't like them anyway. Like, who cares? Men don't have emotions. Men don't have feelings. They're all wrong anyway from the beginning. So I think that sometimes it's a thin line of, like, respect and, like, being receptive and having grace, but also we just have to keep that into perspective. What we do for, you know, the woman and being so open arms and accepting, we also have to extend that same grace to our men as well.
Tell her about that day, about what was happening. Have you thought about that?
I have thought about that, but it also, I feel like, just depends on the type of person she goes up to be. Like, the only responsibility I have is to, you know, just raise her to be a strong woman, and she'll feel how she feels. I feel like she's her own person, so.
The thing about it is, like, we all get listen, everybody been in relationships that were.
Well, hold on, but to raise her to be a strong woman, I she'll feel how she feels about it. To me, that's because it's kind of like, do you feel like it was wrong? You know, do you feel like your actions that you displayed were wrong? And if so, then teaching her that that's not the way that she should grow, and she should not ever, you know, move off of her square or change who she is for anybody. And there is nobody that can make you behave in a certain manner. You either are in control and have self-control, or you don't, or the lack thereof. So I think that's kind of like a little, sifting through as well, when saying like, oh, she'll grow up to think whatever she thinks about it, she's going to be her own person, I just have to raise her to be strong, but also to be accountable, also to be accountable and acknowledge the wrongs that she's done as well.
Healthy, not healthy.
Right.
You're not the first girl to to be in a relationship that maybe could wind up where that was. But
right.
I think what shocked a lot of people is the way that he was talking to you and the things that he said. He called you inside. He told you to leave the house. It just seemed like it was a really toxic situation. That wasn't the first time that had happened for you. Or was it? Like, what could you tell us about your relationship and the situation you were in?
Well, me and Baby have been talking been together for about like 3 years on and off. We started talking like September 2019. So it was toxic. We had our really good times, and
I was gonna say, it doesn't start toxic.
No, we were like this in the beginning. Like, we were in love, like that honeymoon phase. Like, it was really good. We both were kind of at our peak of our careers too. Like, I had Rolling Loud, he had Rolling Loud the next day. Like, it was just always like we were always both so busy. I had Fashion Week. Like, it was intriguing for both of us to be like, doing good, and like we would be supporting each other. So it was good. And then, of course, he had his little mess ups and stuff, so we'd break up for a month and then get back together, and then again we'd break up. We broke up a lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot of on and offs going on, but during that time, I definitely wasn't his side piece, and he knows that too. But I felt like when I spoke to him, he told me, like, the night before I was doing the most when it comes to like crying and all this stuff, how I felt. And I guess he said what he said out of anger and try to make me look bad, I guess. I don't know.
That's the thing that I don't understand, because we have to create a space where women do feel it's important to be more accountable for their own actions. And I understand that, like, it was shocking when he was online and he was saying certain things about her. However, being that it's her that's here, I feel like it's her space to say, her wrongdoings, her space, because we heard what he was saying, but we have no idea what the conversation was before it was rolling. We don't know what she was saying to him. No man that's dealing with a woman that just had a baby with a woman in his right mind is going to just pick up a thing and start talking ill of this person that he's, quote unquote, like, in love with, whatever the case is. And I think that this is also a big situation, because you can be in love with the thought or the idea of being with somebody. And what I mean by that is, like, she's successful, he's successful, and they're kind of in like the same space as well. So you have like this air of like, oh, like, we can be this power couple and whatever. And the idea sounds fine, but like, it's really important to find out the person's true feelings, the person's true thoughts about you. Like, where are you going? And, we always talk about like marry before you carry. We already know that doesn't necessarily happen for everybody. However, especially in these spaces, it's very vital. It's very, very vital, because the breaking up and getting back together from before is like a telling sign of how the relationship is going to be. It's not going to get better because now you're pregnant. It's not going to get better now because, you guys have a baby or a child together. So whatever the situation is, if it's unsolid foundation, a baby can't fix that. It's only going to expose even more issues.
That moment happens. Can you even
Right.
Can you even believe it while it's happening? Like, what are you thinking while it's happening? I know you said you're drinking wine and stuff.
That night, the first night?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild. It was definitely wild. It was very selfish, being that I just had our baby. Like, it was very selfish. And
does he apologize to you?
No.
Really?
He's just like that, though. As you can see, you seen his interview. He said, does he regret anything? He said, nope. I live life without regrets as well. But if there's something I could take back, I feel like, or handle differently, like, I will say that. Like, that shows accountability. Like, that's maturity. Especially, take away everything else. It's like, we have a kid together, like, so.
So So where are you now? Like, what's your relationship like now? Because you do have a kid together.
Right. It's a big challenge, honestly. Anybody I've ever dated, like, I've never been friends with. Like, I'll block them. Like, I would never hear from them.
I love you to don't ever talk to me again.
I'm just like that. Like, I'll cut you off and never see you. You're not part of my life anymore. So it's definitely been a challenge to, like, have to keep this relationship and friendship, whenever it becomes that. But I feel like it's a challenge on my maturity as well. So I like it because it's like, okay, obviously the relationship is way different now, and it's like you can't get emotional, like you can't, so just working through it.
I think it's interesting that it's asked about like his, it was spoken about with his accountability, and he should feel this, and it's like, but I just wonder, like, does she feel that she would have done anything differently? And we always say this, and people get mad when you say stuff like that, like, oh, babies are blessings, but in hindsight is always 2020. I wonder if she has that feeling like, if I would have known or really realized the magnitude of the situation, maybe I wouldn't have embarked on this journey with this man who never showed me, because she said two things. She said we were talking, and then she said together, talking and together, but never was there like a solid relationship. Never was there like a solid connection, engagement, nothing. So if she's saying that, like, oh, he never said sorry, but he's just like that, though, was he always like that prior to the child? And, then women kind of get into situations, and this is not personal to her at all. I just need to focus on this because I know there's so many other women who go through situations like this where the man, he showed you everything that he is, but you saw what you wanted to see. And then after everything hits the fan and everything is out in the open, then it's like, well, how can you treat me like this because we have a child together? And it's like, but I've never treated you any different. But now you care differently because we have a child together.
It's a little hard, but something I'm learning.
How's the co-parenting going?
Right, like that.
Can you do it? I mean, like, have you been?
We've been doing it. We live in different places, so he only could see her so much. So it's like, and I'll let him see her. So
I used, like, really what I want to ask you is, like, where are you at with that relationship? Because, like, it's hard, right?
Yeah.
It's over.
I know it sounds crazy, but I feel like it almost had to go there, like, for me to let go.
Why?
I mean, maybe not had to go there, but
you were in it.
I was in it. Like,
you were in
who
love.
knows if I would have, like, stayed if we weren't on live. Like, I don't know. Like, there have been so many chances that I gave, but now, like, I've just learned and grown so much that I'm just like, okay, I've just learned to love myself so much more. Because I feel like I really did love him so much that I was just giving it all to him, all my focus. I didn't even focus on my career. The past 2 years, I haven't really done anything with my music or nothing. So, yeah, it's definitely over.
What do you think? Because if you look at, like, I don't know, every relationship, like, there's always two sides, right? There's always, like, have you thought about that? Like, what
his side is?
No, just like what you might have contributed to even put yourself in a place, that type of place, or that type of relationship, or that type of...
Good question.
I don't know. I guess I'm asking, would you do something differently now, knowing and experiencing that? And
yeah, I think the first time he showed me or cheated on me, played me, I would have left him.
Really?
Yeah. It wasn't...
And why didn't you?
Man, I don't know.
Did you, like, make excuse, like, he's a rap,
Yeah, because when we first broke up, like, it was a month. We didn't even talk, nothing. And then, how did we get back together the first time? I think we did Rivah Gang together.
That was it.
Yeah. We were on set, and he was just like, I love you, all this stuff, and I was just like, oh my God. So, yeah, I was just blind.
It happened.
And I think that there's a fine line, right? There's a fine line between being like a submissive person and being like somebody who is cooperative and stuff like that. All of that is well and fine, being cool, being chill. But if you don't respect yourself, if you don't have any self-respect, and when I say that, it doesn't mean that you don't, like, maybe outwardly respect yourself, but if you don't set certain standards or have certain boundaries or anything, people can know that and people can feel that. And however you're presenting yourself, whether it's on purpose or not, right? Whether it's being naive, whether it's being immature, whether it's just your lack of experience, whatever it is, like, people are going to you only work with what you're presenting to them. So if you're presenting somebody who is like, if you're presenting respect, if you're presenting self-worth, if you're presenting like honor and all this kind of stuff, some people would rather just leave you alone than deal with you because they already know like, nah, I can't do that to that girl. But like, if you're the type of person who's just like, you're so willing, you're still calling him like, it ended, he showed you who he was, or he showed you that he didn't take it as serious as you were taking it, and you're still on his coattail, some people are going to walk away from you. But some people are not. Some people are still going to deal with you because obviously you feel like you need them. So they're going to give you themselves, but they're not going to change any behavior because they were doing it the whole time and it was never an issue.
Yeah. It happens to everyone.
Yeah.
It's hard enough to go through something like that privately.
Right.
Even just breakups, even if they're not like that dramatic. Like breakups are hard for anybody. Mm-hmm. But to go through it that way, it's funny because I remember right after it happened, it was trending and everybody was talking about it. And even on my show, I remember Karuchi came to my show and did you saw that? Mm-hmm. And she was like that she felt for you. Like a lot of women saw that, and you're a new mom, and you like no woman who just gave birth to a baby should have to do that. I just felt there was a lot of compassion, and where you had dealt with some controversy before and people had things to say about you, but in that moment, I feel like there was genuine compassion. Yeah. Like women were like kind of riding for you.
Yeah.
Did you feel that?
Yeah, a lot of girls hit me up. I even got like DMs from just random women and like voice note DMs, and like this one girl was like crying, like, oh my god, like you can come to my house, like I don't even know you, but so it was just like crazy to. Even girls sent me stories like, oh my god, my baby daddy kicked me out, like this and this and that, like just a whole bunch of different stories, and like I don't know, I definitely felt more connected to a lot of women, and like
did people reach out that week?
I have to say it again too. Yes, it's a hard situation. Yes, it's crazy that like you're in this you have this tumultuous situation going on, this horrible toxic relationship going on, and you have a baby in the mix. But was this the behavior before the baby? What is the reason why you went through with even getting to that level with this person with no changed behavior? Because women will always, that's the thing, like women will always coddle each other. Always, always, always side with each other, coddle each other. But the deeper issue has to be addressed as well, because even the other women who are saying the same things that they've gone through, we need more context to those situations, because sometimes it's you putting yourself into foolishness. This man told you he didn't want no baby. He said he didn't want to be in a relationship with you. He said he didn't see anything long term with you. And then you go through all the motions, and then you have this horrible situation after the baby is born, and then you're looking around like, I can't believe this happened to me. And it's like, what happened to you? This situation that you literally created. A lot of women create situations and then cry afterwards, not realizing that they're the one who was in charge of their own heartbreaks.
Because I think Karuchi said she DM'd you or something. She didn't know if you got her message. Did a lot of other women?
Summer hit me up. Who else hit me up? Bia.
She posted too, right?
Summer posted it. Bia hit me up. Melly hit me up. A lot of people. I can't even name them all because
that must have been. To feel like support in a moment like that is
for sure.
Especially when the social media is ruthless.
Right. I didn't even realize how crazy it was until I saw everybody and then looking back at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like what a moment.
I get that.
Yeah.
And you've had some moments on social media that have been challenging for you too. I know. Think about. You put this song out, was like a year ago? Was it a year and a half? Or was it longer?
It was a year ago. It was like a year.
It was a snippet. It wasn't even a full song, right? Called Yellowbone.
Right.
Did you have any idea how that was going to be received?
No. When I did drop the snippet and saw how everyone reacted, I was like, I messed up. I messed up. I didn't super realize it at that time, and that's why I responded like defensive. But it was a horrible mistake. It was not a good moment for sure for me, and it was a hard time in that time, like, a lot was going on in my life. Like, me and baby broke up. That happens. Me and my family. I was pregnant. Like, it was just all at once. So I was like, ooh, what is God trying to teach me right now? Because it was definitely a learning lesson for me. And I just want to say to everybody that I'm super sorry. Because it just was a mistake. I'm a Dominican woman. I have family members that are dark-skinned. My daughter's a black girl. Like, it just was, to even speak on skin tone, like, I realized how, like, messed up that is now.
Did you have, like, no idea of that before?
I didn't have no idea of it, but I don't think I wrote the song intentionally, like, to be, like, a praise of, like, light skins or anything. So it was just kind of like, I don't know. I just think I wasn't really thinking. It was very, like, ignorant, you know? And
No, so I love what Angie Martinez asked her. She's like, "Did you have any idea like what the situation was at all?" And she's like, "Oh no, I kind of knew, but I didn't know." But she wrote this song, right? And it was definitely like a colorist song. Okay, let's just be honest. It definitely was a song praising her for being light skinned, right? For praising herself. And the song was just so I can read it to you, the lyrics, the chorus of the song was yellow bone, that's what he wants. Yellow bone, that's what he wants. And so it's interesting because she made this song saying that, she's the one then that's the girl that he wants because she's the yellow bone, and that's the type of girls that he likes and all this kind of stuff. And the same person that she wrote this song for ends up exposing that you're the side chick, doesn't want you, doesn't want to be with you. And so it kind of came across as very like, oh, you're better than us, you're better than everybody. And then it's like around that exact same time, now you're being exposed and you're feeling like less than, and everyone is looking at you, and now we're seeing who you really are, and he's saying that he doesn't want you. So it kind of like came full circle real quick.
You had said when you were like being defensive that was a term that you had heard, and you didn't think it was a negative term. You didn't know better to know that it could be, a negative term.
Yeah.
So was it a complete surprise to you when people reacted the way they did?
It took me a moment for it to kick in. Where I was like, ooh, I get it. Like, you know what I mean? So it was just like, yeah, not the right decision. And then I've done my research and I've done all that now, and I've seen like how sad it could be, like for dark-skinned women in the industry, in music, TV, film, regular life in general. Like, it's a big problem. And
not sad, okay? Not how sad it can be. Like, I think that's the wrong verbiage. Like, oh, it's so sad. It's so sad for them. I'm so sad for them. Like, I definitely don't think it's that type of vibe. I more so think it's more of like just the reality of the situation. People always say like light is right, and just a lot of effects from not even from now, from way back when. So I definitely don't think it's like a sad thing, but I think it's just a realization of what the world really is about. And maybe it is her own ignorance, but I also noticed that she's saying like, she's saying she has darker people in her family, and then her daughter's a black girl. But if we know what we really know about travel, about her being from the Dominican Republic and how things really went, like it was just a stop on the boat. Like there's no separation of the two. It's not because you speak Spanish it makes you not African. That's just the language that you speak, but that's a different conversation.
I guess, God wanted to teach me and show me, like, so that's how he did it. And I was like, ooh, I felt like I lost it all at that time.
But your intentions, I gather, were not to be, or to belittle.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
What were your intentions?
To be honest, when I did that song, like, I didn't think about it. Like, I just, like, I feel like you can hear that it's not a typical Danileigh song. Like, it sounds like something we were trying. So it was just like, we were like lit in the studio, and it was just like throwing words around, and it just came about. And it was never me in the studio like, oh, I'm gonna write a song and do this. And like, it was never like that. So but I could see how it was taken being.
I think it's even worse though. I think it's even worse that that wasn't thought about, because that's just in your mind. That's just resonating with you, that that's just how you feel, and the only thing I wish is that Angie asked her intentions before she said it wasn't to belittle anybody, right? I wish she would have just let her answer that question, like, off it, because it would give us more context. But even if that wasn't your intentions, that wasn't your thought process, it's still the fact that, like, that was even in your mindset to even make a song kind of like that, like, very insensitive to others, for sure. And it sounds like you're trying to send a message in that song to somebody.
Situation I was in, and I'm fully taking accountability for it. And yeah, it was just, I guess it was a word too that I didn't realize how much power it had, and like, I don't know, it just shouldn't be played around with at this point, because a lot of people use it in music nowadays still, like, and I feel like it's so sensitive. Like, people are actually hurt by that. Like, people have gone through real things when it comes to colorism and everything. So it's just like, just don't play around like that.
You learned the lesson.
Oh yeah. So,
and now you have this like beautiful brown skin baby.
I know, she's so beautiful. And I'm like, people. It's just the comments that people say of just different things with that. It definitely hurts me to see. So it's just like, dang. Something I wish I could take back, but obviously I can't. So
you could learn and you could move forward and do better. And
yeah.
What else?
Yeah. What else?
You can't sit in that moment.
Yeah.
Right. You just gotta keep moving forward.
I feel like I've been in a very like negative space in the past 2 years. Like.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely excited to just like move forward and just have this next chapter where my brand is more affiliated with like my music, like my dance, everything that I have going on.
Because you're so talented.
Thank you.
We've been talking about everything else.
Yeah.
But like.
Yeah, and I feel like you Google me, you see everything, and I'm just like, oh my god, I can't wait. Where it's like, I'm doing this, there's this video, and it's just like, oh dang, because I've been doing this for so long. I've been doing this since I was 16. I moved to LA, so. And I've done a lot of things. I started off as a dancer. Like,
you were who's dancer?
And this is the thing, right? I'm going to stop this video right here, but this is the thing, too. Like, I agree with what Angie Martinez says. When you go through situations, it doesn't mean that you have to sit in it. But what's necessary for growth, for evolution, for change, for maturity, is going through the situation and knowing, like, okay, this was where I was wrong. Let me be accountable for my actions. Let me make sure I fully understand the situation and what happened. And then we're going to move on, and then we're going to grow. I definitely agree with not sitting in the moment, for sure. And you do have to grow. And I think that 2 years is a long time. 2 years is definitely a long time to kind of like get things together. But I'm wondering what you guys feel about this in the comment section. So in the comments, let me know what you guys think about this interview. Let me know your feelings, your thoughts, your opinions. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and make sure you guys hit that post notification bell. So I do post a video every single day, but the time varies. But if you hit that notification bell and you hit all, it's going to notify you every single time that I post. But I really want to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions. You guys heard my thoughts and my opinions, so I want to hear yours in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Love you.